Hello, hello, and welcome, my Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your soulmate contract read for April, May 2020. I am your reader, Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and very, very happy to be working for you all. I am a Virgo. We are both ruled by Mercury. So now let's see how this goes, shall we? The skills of communication and analysis that we share. But before we get down to the actual reading, just a couple of things. Number one, if you are new to the channel, please do consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel. I'm putting out content pretty much every day, either through these recorded videos or through live streams. I've been trying to do AM and PM super chats, live chats, whatever they're called, just to support people through this time of challenge, which I will not be addressing directly because YouTube does not want us to, and that's okay. I get it. I get exactly why they're doing it, and I am cool with that. But trying to give some spiritual counseling here and there, and lately the evening sessions have just been raucously fun. So yeah, hit the notification bell so you'll know when I go live and when I put out new content. Other than that, please keep in mind this is a general read, not a private read. If you want a private read, I'm easy enough to book. I do a lot of Facebook video messenger readings, so if you're on Facebook or Skype or anything like that, obviously I'm not taking clients in my home right now. So that being said, take what resonates, leave what does not, and check your other signs. That's why I always do Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs for relationship-based readings. This is a contract read, so soulmate contracts are different than twin flame contracts. There are some videos in the description box below, along with the links for all the decks that I use to give credit where credit is due. There is a big difference between a soulmate and a twin flame contract. What they have in common is they are both pre-incarnational agreements, contracts that you make before coming in to work with certain souls. But soulmate contracts, you help each other heal, so they're not all romantic sexual. My mom and I, for example, have a lovely soulmate contract before even I was born. That sucker was in place. These readings, however, are about the romantic, sexual, intimate relationships, the ones that we're all kind of wanting, and that I think the world could use right now. I know, hard to meet people where we are right now on planet Earth. But at least can show you what the healing dynamics are, because whether you have met or not, even, you know, if you're not aware that you have soulmate contracts, at least these are the romantic sexual ones where you're helping each other heal, even if you haven't met. That's how these things work. That's why you walk sort of parallel lives in terms of healing, so that when you do meet, you're like, well, that's odd. I went through that too, right? It seems like such a coincidence, but it's not. It's how the contracts are written, so that you could be symbiotic and help each other heal. So we are going to be looking at divine feminine, divine masculine as two parties in a contract. I was raised by a lawyer, so I'm rather familiar with contract law. So remember, when I'm talking about divine feminine and divine masculine, it has nothing to do with bodily gender or gender preference. It has to do with energetic dynamics. I would call it divine yin, divine yang, but then these explanations before the readings would be longer. So we're just going to roll with that. Please focus on your breath, as will I, to keep us in the present moment. Plus you're an air sign, so that I will be able to bring you through the clarity, guidance, and grace that we all need for this read and all of the readings that I do, but also you'll be able to more tune to your own intuitive sense of what resonates and what doesn't. Cool? Let's do this. Nice deep breath. We're going to start with the Caroline Myss archetype deck. 2 cards, one for the divine feminine, one for the divine masculine, and then we are off to the races. Let's do this. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please 2 cards, one for the divine feminine, one for the divine masculine, in this Gemini collective Sun, Moon, rising Venus sign, sexual, intimate, romantic, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, soulmate contract for April, May 2020, please. One for the divine feminine. Ooh, that's 2 cards. No. Please, 1 for the divine feminine. 1 for the divine feminine, thank you very much, and 1 for the divine masculine in this Gemini collective sun, moon, rising Venus sign. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic, soulmate contract for April, May 2020. Now, before I flip these over, keep in mind, these cards can be triggery, right? Archetypes are neutral in these decks. This deck, they identify a shadow attribute and a light attribute. In other words, the letter, the gold, the toxic and the healing, the healthy, so that you can get a grip on what it is that you're helping each other heal, both within yourselves and within the other, right? Whether you've met or not. So who's our lucky couple? Oh, interesting. We've got the divine feminine as the storyteller archetype, the creative family of archetypes. And we've got the divine masculine as the father archetype. Seriously, one of the masculine family of archetypes. There are 9 different families of archetypes according to Caroline Mace. So we've got the creative and the masculine, which is nice to see a masculine archetype in the divine masculine position. It doesn't always roll that way, because remember, we're not talking about bodily gender, but I like a little archetypal alignment when it comes. So let me read you these. Remember, as I said, the shadow is triggery. The shadow attribute of the storyteller archetype for the divine feminine, making up tales that harm others. Fake news. Lying, deceiving, the whole 9, right? Like, my father was a storyteller. I have the storyteller archetype too, but it comes through the way I teach. I tell personal stories about what I've been through to illustrate certain spiritual principles. But my dad, it's like you could be in an event with him, and then 2 hours later he would tell somebody else about the event, and you'd be like, were we at the same thing? You know, that sort of thing. So distorting truth. The light attribute, ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Now keep in mind, because my father really did have the storyteller archetype in the shadow, it really showed me to move it into the light, to be as honest and truthful, and particularly thank the gods for the grace of humility, to know that you don't know when you don't know, that you don't make it up. Fake it till you make it is helpful in some situations, but not when you don't know the truth. Instead, know that you don't know and be honest. Say, well, you know, here's my story. I really don't know, but this is what I feel. This is what I sense. You can still be honest about that. So for the divine feminine, remember, honor has a biological consequence, and so does dishonor. For the divine masculine father archetype in the shadow, dictatorial control and abuse of authority. By the way, my dad was a Gemini, so he's crossed over. So, you know, he was a dictator, and he abused his authority quite a bit, at least with his sons, my brother and I. So I can really identify with that in terms of that Gemini Jekyll and Hyde father thing. Like, to everybody else, he was Mr. Scoutmaster behind closed doors. Cuckoo bananas. So the light attribute, talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. It's my dad, right? Boy Scout master. Whoa! Wow, dictatorial control, a tyrant. So that's our couple here. Now, keep in mind, everybody's got shadow in their game. Everybody's got a little lead in their alchemical balance. So to bring together a divine feminine storyteller and a divine masculine father, there's a lot of creativity there, and a lot of support, and a lot of wonderful things that can be done. Not just for the couple themselves, but within the tribal unit in which they exist. Cool? It's lovely. Now, if you're not sure exactly which one you are, although those two feel drastically different, though I can relate to both of them, and my dad, at least. I'm not a father, I'm a mother. My cats call me Mama, because they can't say Dada, they go Mama. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 5 cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot for the Divine Feminine, and we're going to take 5 cards from the Mythic Tarot for the Divine Masculine. Ye Old Element spread, fire, earth, air, water, spirit. I made a career out of this spread, reading people in bars and in clubs in the 80s and the 90s. Great fun that was. So let's ask the goddesses, the voices of the collective Divine Feminine, what's going on here with this Divine Feminine storyteller archetype. Nice deep breath. my goddesses, please. Top 5 cards, top of the deck. Element spread. Fire, earth, air, water, spirit for this divine feminine storyteller archetype in this Gemini collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign soulmate contract for April to May 2020, April and May 2020. Please, fire, what does she desire? Earth, what does she have? Air, what does she think? Water, what does she feel? And spirit, what is the point of view or voice of the soul for this divine feminine in this Gemini satisfying, sexual, intimate, romantic, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise soulmate contract? Thank you very much, my goddesses. Maiden, Mother, Crone. By the way, I say that every time to kind of time out the to do the shuffle well. They tell me, okay, stop, and that's when I do it. So let's look. Element of fire. What does the divine feminine storyteller desire? What's her element of fire? Okay, we've got a court card. Now, this is the card of Pisces. In this deck, it's literally written on the card Pisces, so I don't have to say, oh, all the water signs. I like the specificity of that. I'm a Virgo. You get what I mean? So what it is that she wants, as I tune to this, because I am a Pisces moon, is she really does want the dream come true. She does want the fairy tale manifested into physical form in terms of her soulmate, but also keeping in mind that Pisces is the 12th house, connected to the collective unconsciousness, like the ocean. Really, there's only one ocean, right? We can make a little dotted line saying this is one ocean, this is the other, but there's really just one ocean. So if you think of that collective unconscious, the depth of the ocean connecting all things, that she really does want something that is of the soul. She wants a soul satisfying, not just a physical relationship, but she also wants that emotional part of it. The depth, the feeling that it feels right, that it feels unified, that it feels divinely guided, that it's emotionally satisfying and fulfilling. Already I'm thinking this is not the Gemini, but if it is, it is. Let's see, what does she have to help her get what she wants? The element of earth. Well, we've got the High Priestess, Isis, in this deck. And a card of mystery. Look, you're going to have to get used to not knowing, if you are the divine feminine, that what you have here is, in a sense, faith. That secrets will be revealed to you one moment at a time, one step at a time. None of us are shown more of the plan than we are ready to handle. And of course, this is a card of deeper intuition and mysticism, mystery, right? Tuning yourself to the divine feminine. It is the maiden of the maiden, mother, and crone. The high priestess is a clear vessel through which the divine can operate, right? Like a channel of love and light. But if this is what you have, know that your faith is of great help to you right now in terms of manifesting what you want, considering where we are on the planet right now, that your life is being used for a higher purpose. So whatever you're going through emotionally, if you're the divine feminine watching this, or cross-watcher, that whatever it is you're processing and going through emotionally is all part of this soulmate contract. So you might be a little emotional, but watch, what are the stories that you're telling yourself about it? Are these stories harming yourself? Like, I'm never going to meet anybody, and there are no soulmates, and this is all just futile, and that's a harmful story. But so is, oh, he's going to show up any moment now. Right? Right? Try and find that middle place, particularly with that Pisces card there. If that's what you want, you're going to have to find the balance between dolphin and shark. You know what I'm saying? So not to be too blindly optimistic, but also not too depressingly pessimistic. And that is a delicate balance. So, of course, there's this thing of, okay, I know that I don't know. Grant me the maiden grace of humility to know that I do not know, but I'm willing to be shown. And that somehow this is all part of my path. Okay. And if I need to cry, I'll cry. And if I need to laugh, I'll laugh. And I'll try and balance all of that out. So that is a great strength to have in the element of earth, right? That somehow your faith, your connection to the divine, your own mystical and intuitive skills, and perhaps the things that you know that other people don't know, right? The high priestess knows all the secrets, but she doesn't tell everybody everything. being used as a channel of the divine. Trust me, I understand that only too well. What's the element of air? What is she thinking? Ooh, your second major arcana card in the position of air. This is the Spider Woman, the Wheel of Fortune, the card of destiny and fate. That you're thinking about the divine plan. You're thinking about, well, this thread of the web, this relationship and that experience, it's all part of a larger picture that I can't see, but can I tune my mind and think about that this is all happening for me, not to me, that I'm not a victim of my fate, that fate is something I can alchemize into destiny. Can I think about this in a way that this is not for the comfort of my personality or my ego, but for the growth and development of my soul, the eternal part of me that was chosen to play the role of the name in the body that I'm in. See, so this is about seeing a larger picture mentally, or at least being willing to accept that there are certain mysteries that will be revealed to you thread by thread as you go. But no one gets the whole picture all at once, because our brains would explode. The human mind is not capable of understanding the totality of the divine plan. That's why even the first line of the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu, and I paraphrase like nuts. I'm very bad at direct quoting verbatim, but it's like the Tao cannot be defined. The totality cannot be defined. Once it's been defined, it's no longer the Tao. It's no longer the totality, right? So again, there's a piece of faith here that you have to help you go through this. And, if it helps to keep an eye on the synchronicities, right? The little messages that you get, not just intuitively, but in the outside world. Like, for me, when I'm saying something or thinking something and I hear the same word on the TV in the background, I go, okay, not that that word is gospel law necessarily, but that definitely I'm in the right place at the right time, right? So I'm congruent with the divine plan for this moment. Cool. What's going on emotionally, considering we've got this strong water card here in the element of fire? We have got a fire card in the element of water, another court card, Aries, the Maiden of Blades. Now, what's interesting is you've got the Maiden of Cups, Pisces, and the next sign of the zodiac, which would be rebooting the zodiacal belt, would be Aries. So there is a progression here in terms of what you want, element of fire, and what you feel. So you got water and fire, and you've got fire and water, a little juxtaposition there. So this might very well be maybe about an Aries person, sun, moon, rising sign. I'm very careful about that when I do a reading, because it's too easy to automatically lock out the 11 other signs once you identify it that way, because it might not be somebody's sun sign. It could be more about the vibration that they're in or where they are in their life. If you're looking at an emotional thing here in the element of water with the sign of Aries, then this is about self-emotion, looking at the self, first sign of the zodiac, self-healing, being with yourself, loving your own emotions, or in the words of Matt Kahn, bless his soul, loving what arises emotionally for you. So if you are in a solitary situation, many of us are, even if we are sequestered in our own domain, watch me dance around the language, then really this is about you dealing with your own emotions. And it's okay to be lonely, and it's okay to feel isolated. It's okay that it's not okay, but what I mean that it's totally normal, makes sense in this situation for you to be focused more on wanting a happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual partnership, soulmate contract, because you might be feeling a little isolated. I'm also going to say look into inner child work, right? To see your heart chakra, your emotional body as a child, and then parent that child, giving it the love that only you can. Because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, the child of the belt, as it were, that you might be dealing with both the innocence of the child as well as the tyranny of the child. And be careful of your addictions, I just heard. And remember, not all addictions are external. We can have addictive emotional patterns. Remember, every emotion has a biological component. So we can literally be chemically addicted to certain emotional states. I didn't make that up. That's just how that works. Watch What the Bleep Do We Know if you can find it. Great, I guess we'd call that a docudrama on quantum physics. Particularly the Polish wedding scene is really, really good. Yeah, you'll see what I mean. The last card down for her would be the card of Spirit, the voice of, or the point of view of the soul, which is yet another court card. Now look, I'm going to say when 3 out of 5 cards are court cards and the other 2 are major arcana, then there is a lot going on in terms of personalities in your life. Not saying that necessarily the Divine Feminine here is a multiple personality disorder, but to really look at the different facets of self, that we are all more than just one archetype, right? And we are certainly more than our own sun sign. Even our sun, moon, and rising and Venus signs. We've got Mars and Mercury and Neptune, and let's not leave Uranus out of it, because I always have to go for that joke when it's available. So what are we looking at here with the Sagittarian card Ceridwen, or Ceridwen? I've heard it said so many different ways. This is a card of mutable fire. 9th house, expansion, spirituality, travel, dreaming, planning, anything expansive ruled by the planet of Jupiter. So it may very well be that the Divine Feminine Storyteller here is picking up on the larger picture stuff mentally with this card of the Spider Woman, she who weaves each thread of the web part of a larger network or the divine plan. But what she's got is her intuitive skill, her ability, and perhaps to be quiet about what she knows, so that she can intuit and feel in a deeper way. But do understand with that card of Aries there in the position of water, that there might be some volatility, there might be some infantile, even some childhood issues. So I really am going to recommend doing a little research and a little work in terms of the inner child, because the core of the inner child is the divine child. It's the seeds of the higher self within the body. But the external stuff is the child that has never forgotten any insult, any slight, any deception, any pain, holds on to it. And then you think of the child trying to protect the adult. Reverse it. It's the other way around. That's what works. Let's jump over to the Divine Masculine, the father archetype, and do the same for him. So now if you are the Divine Feminine, you sort of can feel that out. But in case, you're not sure, we're going to do the same for the Divine Masculine father archetype. And if you are a cross-watcher, this will be helpful as well. Nice deep breath while I ask the gods. The collective Divine Masculine, please. My gods. Top 5 cards, elements spread for the Gemini collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs in this Gemini collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, romantic, soulmate contract read for April, May 2020, please. Top 5 cards, fire, what does he want? Earth, what has he got? Air, what does he think? Water, what does he feel? Spirit, what is the voice or the point of view of the soul for this Divine Masculine father archetype in this Gemini collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic, soulmate contract for April, May 2020. Thank you, Sun, Father, and Sage. Let's have a look. What's he want? His element of fire. God give him strength. All right. This is Heracles, the original Greek name for Hercules, and this is him slaying the Nemean lion. Now here we have a real strength card in terms of physical strength, but more often than not, this card is talking about soul strength. The grace of endurance, if you will, the ability to endure, the fortitude of the heart to feel, courage, courage, keeping in mind that the word courage comes from the French word for the heart, the coeur, le coeur, la coeur, I forget if it's masculine or feminine at the moment. Yeah. high school a long time ago. So definitely is wanting the courage perhaps to take the journey, perhaps to just endure what he's going through. Remember, I have to say he or she here to keep this straight in my mind, but this is not about biological gender. To have the strength to endure, to gather together his fire, his earth, his air, his water, and move forward with the divine plan in terms of spirit, to follow his heart. Because even to reach out to somebody right now and tell them how you feel at a distance will probably take more courage than most of us have. It's just going to take us a while to develop that. So I could see the divine masculine wanting that strength. Just let me just get through this, and I swear I'm going to tell the people that I love them, right? And I'm going to take the risk, even the risk of rejection or looking ridiculous, which humiliation is the first controlling fear. The thing is we survive humiliation, so it need not control us as much as it does. What's the element of earth here to help him get that? Well, we've got the death card, the god Hermes. Now, the death card, I always say, is not about physical death necessarily. It can, but otherwise it would be the last card in the major arcana, because we traditionally think of death as an end. But it's not, and nor am I feeling that's what this means in this particular spread. It's halfway through. It's usually card number 13, right? So this is about a transformation, a changing of form from the inside out, which is why skeletons are often depicted in the death card, not in the decks that I use, but traditionally you will see that, particularly anything based on the Rider-Waite deck by Pamela Coleman Smith. We're looking here about what he has is really the ability to transform, or is going through such a transformation, and not for nothing. Who isn't? We're all being held in the crucible of the furnace of transformation right now. We're all being transformed, and there is no going back. I've said for decades there's a difference between a change and a transformation, right? Right now, the weather outside this morning, where I am on Long Island, it was sunshiny and warm for a hot second, and now it's overcast and breezy, and it looks like it's going to rain. That's a change. A transformation is like burning a cookie. You can't go back. You can't unburn a cookie. Fire is the element of transformation in that way. So we are all going through that right now, and though it sucks, and I will be the first to sign off on, yes, this sucks, but I'll also be the first to sign off as, yes, this is necessary for the evolution of human consciousness, let alone the transformation and healing and evolution of the soul, which is eternal. That, remember, the soul doesn't die. The soul is immortal. That eternal doesn't mean all of time. It means timeless, outside of time. We originate from outside of this planetary hologram called life on planet Earth, right? So the soul, everything is happening for the betterment, the health, the growth, the development, the evolution of the soul. Just like an actor gets cast in different roles. Do you really want to play the ingenue every single time? Do you really want to play the villain every time? No. A good actor wants to be rounded out. Even character actors want some variation. They just don't want to play themselves in every single role, although there are plenty of actors who've gotten away with exactly that. Typecasting, right? Oh, reincarnational typecasting. I don't think we get away with that too much. So that makes sense, right? You know, wants strength, but what he has is to deal with these transformations going on in his personal life. These spreads are personal. That's why we're dealing with the archetypes at the top of the spread, so that we can get that these are the soul contracts they've made individually, that as they heal, they're helping each other heal. What's going on in his element of air? What's he thinking? A third major arcana card, the Hierophant. So he probably is thinking about something in stages, gradations, levels of improvement. The Hierophant, yes, can certainly speak of spiritual growth and evolution, but usually through a prescribed path. Oh, perfect example, modern day. I just did the Oprah Winfrey Deepak Chopra 21-day meditation challenge. Again, hope in uncertain times. It was really good. And it was nice to not have to kind of lead my own meditations. My personal meditations tend to be more Eastern, more Zen, more about the silencing of the mind. This was mantra work, right? different. But it was nice to have Deepak and Oprah lay out what? A curriculum. First you do this, and then you do this, and then you do this. So perhaps he is contemplating something a bit more formalized. Now, I have heard this card of the Hierophant be about marriage and commitments, and certainly that can be the case. And because we're talking about a happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic sexual dealio, this might very much be on his mind, because I'm sure with the instability of the world that we are dealing with right now, many minds are looking towards almost habitually, well, maybe it is time for me to commit. Maybe it is time for me to get real about what it is that I want, and facilitate that through at least a spiritual commitment, perhaps to my own process in healing. Remember, we've got the Father here, a positive guiding light within a tribal unit, perhaps to get down to business, get a little serious, make some commitments, take some vows, whether or not that is marriage or not. Maybe what was always important has become more important to this divine masculine. Remember, this could be the Gemini, this could be the Gemini, but with 3 major arcana cards in a row, we're definitely looking at some kind of spiritual awakening transformation here. What's going on in his element of water? If this is another major arcana card, and it is! Oh my god, the Hanged Man. Okay, you've got 4 for 4. Holy crap. Holy crapolies! This is the Hanged Man, Prometheus bound, right? Stole fire from the gods. By the way, he was a divine being himself. That's why they couldn't kill him, right? He wasn't a man who stole fire from the gods. He was, I believe, was he a Titan? A son of the gods? I don't remember right now. But was hung upside down from a rock. And I think it was a vulture came and pecked out his liver every day, and it kept growing back, right? What a way to go. What a way to exist. Gruesome. Traditionally, we see the Hanged Man as almost like Odin hanging on the Yggdrasil tree, the tree of life, Yggdrasil, for 9 days, some say 9 months, whatever. But definitely a sacrifice. So right now might be feeling like he's having to give up so much, but in order to see things differently. Now, I will say, in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, we've got that halo around the head of the Hanged Man, not so here. Because it is voluntary. One voluntarily trying to see things differently, turn themselves upside down. Don't crack up, bend your brain, see both sides, throw off your mental chains, except these would be emotional ones. So it might be that the divine masculine here is feeling very emotionally hung up, unable to control their emotional states, and sort of surrendering to them, saying, okay, I give up, I surrender. Surrender, Dorothy. I just have to feel what I'm feeling and see this as part of a process. Now, even though we don't think of the divine masculines necessarily as empathic, I don't know how anybody is surviving this without understanding the empathic piece, that what we are feeling is not wholly, W-H-O-L-L-Y, not wholly, H-O-L-Y, wholly our own, right? So there may be some seeing things from other people's point of view, a bit more compassion, which will take you out of the dictatorial, tyrannical thing and abuse of authority, particularly if all of a sudden you're starting to feel things differently. Big spiritual awakening here for the divine masculine father archetype. Let's see, what's the last one down? What are the chances that it would be another major arcana card, the position of spirit? Okay. It's not, but it's the 5 of Pentacles, what we like to call in the trade a womp womp card. No, that's what I call a womp womp. Now, look, I know here in the 5 of Pentacles, it's often seen as destitution, right? Some physical scarcity. Not always the case. 5s are numbers of change. So there's definitely, from the soul's point of view here, right, the voice of the soul is saying, you are going through physical change. What once was is no longer so. Perhaps there has been a loss of power here for the Divine Father. Who's not going through a loss of power in some way, shape, or form? Even political power within a tribal or family unit might be going on here if we've got that father archetype in play. So it would make sense with that Hanged Man and the Hierophant, like trying to figure this out, and it would make sense that what he's going through is the Death card, that there has been a major change, even though I said, like, there's a physical change that's going on, but it is precipitated by a spiritual transformation going on here. And look, that sucks. I get it. But sometimes we do not let go until we have things smacked out of our hands, so to speak. The loss of control, that we are all, in a sense, grieving the loss of the lives we had, but a few months ago, right? So that is a transformation that it's hard to not take it personally, because it feels so personal, but it's happening for everyone. Like, this has touched everybody, what we're going through. So I'm really seeing that here in the divine masculine father archetype, particularly if at any point he was a control freak. Now remember, we're not talking about bodily gender here. This could easily be a woman, right? Gay, straight, bisexual, whatever. That's how I read anyway. General readings, you have to, because I don't have a client sitting across from me telling me, or, videoing. But this feels very, very intense for him. And honestly, of the two, with the predominance of major arcana cards all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 10 cards, that is certainly more than half. There's a lot going on here spiritually, so even if these two are not together or have not met, they're going to help each other heal big, great big, huge, but they can be doing that right now as they heal themselves, giving themselves the love that only they can give themselves. They become the mates of their own soul and therefore become soulmate candidates. In other words, they're getting ready to meet. Let's move on. We've got 5 more cards that will help clarify this. 2 from the Healing with the Angels Oracle from Doreen Virtue. 1 for each of them. Let's ask the angels. Nice, deep breath. My angels, please, 2 cards. 1 for the Divine Feminine, 1 for the Divine Masculine in this Gemini collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, romantic, soulmate contract for April, May 2020, please. Whoops. Please, 1 card for the Divine... No, that's not it. 1 card, please, for the Divine Feminine Storyteller. Thank you. And 1, please, for the Divine Masculine Father archetype in this Gemini soulmate contract, April, May 2020. Interesting. These two together are going to be quite the powerhouse when they come together. The Divine Feminine has the card of dreams. The Divine Masculine has the card of manifestation. So how much you want to bet when these two come together? They're like perfectly healthy components, or in process of becoming healthy components, that once brought together make dreams come true. Right? Really, that they each have if you want, the chemical elements that together make the perfect compound, right? To be able to really bring into form. So for the Divine Feminine, honey, do not give up on your dreams. And let's keep in mind, the High Priestess is all about dreams. It is the card of the subconscious. And not to mention, you got the Piscean card, so you do want your dream to come true. Well, here's the Angel of Dreams saying that your dream can come true, but your dreams are healing you. And here's what I know for myself personally as a Pisces moon, that I did not give myself my dreams. And I don't mean the sleepy kind. I mean, well, those two. That's often the subconscious and the nervous system just detoxing itself from the day, sorting all of that information. But what I'm getting here with this amount of major arcana for her is that these are about life dreams. These are things that are written for her. These are things that are fated and destined. And there is a difference between fate and destiny. If we don't take the journey, we suffer fate. If we do take the journey, learn, heal, grow, evolve, then we manifest destiny. And here's the card of manifestation over here. So regardless of the age of this person, I'm going to tell you, for the Divine Feminine, do not give up on your dreams of a happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual soulmate contract, right? No matter if you've been married 100 times or you're a virgin, it doesn't matter. That this is the fulfillment of something that is written. Because I still have the name of somebody written on my heart that I've been trying for years to erase. Because we can't be together, and we may not be together in this life. I don't know. It's a mystery. But that it's still written there. And I don't know why I'm still in love with this person. Lied, betrayed, everybody involved. And yet it's still there. So I just have to trust, okay, this will make sense someday. And that's where faith comes in. So Divine Feminine, you have your faith here. For the Divine Masculine, you have the ability to manifest what needs to be manifested in your life. You just got to find that courage that you want by going through the death transformation. And yes, do be thinking about the step-by-step plan, but don't see it as all your own plan. Allow it to download through you from the divine, because emotionally, you just got to see things differently. That every emotion, even the emotional baggage of your own pain, is serving you in some way, shape, or form. And that's why you're not getting out of this physical change thing. You're not getting out of the crucible until... Well, what do you want? Hot batter or cake? You gotta stay in the oven. You have to go through this. Because even though I love me some cookie dough, I'd rather have a cookie, right? Go through the process. The manifestation is guaranteed, but not until you're ready. And can we speed up and slow down our own process? Honestly, I don't think we can. I think the best that we can do is the best that we can do, because even that is written. And if there is that dictatorial control and abuse of authority going on there, I have a feeling that's getting beat out of you. Divine Masculine Father Archetype. Ooh, I tongue popped. Usually I... Oh, the blessings of Alyssa Edwards upon me. Let's ask the Whispers of Love Oracle for 2 cards. Whispers of Love from the higher selves of all involved. So this will be more personal, obviously, the higher selves of both of them, but indicating... sometimes these cards come right out and just spill the tea across the table. All right, let's go. The higher selves of all involved, please 2 cards, 1 for the Divine Feminine Storyteller, 1 for the Divine Masculine Father Archetype in this Gemini Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual, soulmate contract, April, May 2020, please. For the Divine Feminine Storyteller, face down, 1 for the Divine Masculine Father Archetype, face down. What she got? True love. This is a once in a lifetime love. Hence the dream. I'm telling you, true love is no accident, right? You don't stumble across true love. It just seems that way. What's written on our hearts, we did not write there. It's part of our contract, right? So this is a once in a lifetime love. Hang in there, sweetheart. Your dreams may very well come true. And I think they're going to, but gotta get, it's not because you did something right or you did something wrong. It's for the benefit of all of life. Imagine true love. This is why I talk so much about the path of true love. All of the hard knocks, all of the wounds are necessary, right? Like an immune system that's never been touched by an antigen can't develop an antibody. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, and souls don't die. So remember, this is really for the evolution of your soul and the incarnation of divine love into human form through a happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual relationship. We've been working on this lifetime after lifetime. The world needs it now. I bet that's going to be what they told me back when I was in my 20s, the divine. You will see in your lifetime the activation of the legions of lovers. Meaning that there will be all of these people who have been through hell like soldiers that at a certain point in our development will meet these soulmate contracts and embody true love. Now, if you ever watched Once Upon a Time, what the kiss of true love does, right? That rainbow that just kind of goes out. Imagine that happening simultaneously with millions of people, right? That's some hot shit, right? So do not give up on your dream, but don't over-fixate on it either. Find the balance. What's he got? This should be interesting. Ask for help. Yeah, because men are so good at that. Again, these not necessarily don't have to be biological males, but ask for help. What is it you really need help with? Be willing to allow yourself the support you need. And may I suggest asking for the help of the divine feminine storyteller. Even if you don't know each other yet, do it through prayer, do it through dreams, do it just through however you want to communicate. But if you do know each other, reach out, say hi, be the man, be the divine masculine here, be the yang, ask for help. Even if it starts with a text message, right? If you two are in separation, or even if you're in the same building together, reach out, ask for help. What is it you need help with? Be willing to allow yourself the support you need. Particularly with what you're going through, allow yourself the support you need. One last card from the Ascended Masters. Of course, I'm going to get you a Healing Mantra deck card from Matt Kahn. He's a freaking genius, that one. He's so sweet. He really is. I've never met him. You know, I know I talk about him a lot because he's really helped me. To me, a spiritual teacher is somebody who teaches by example what they have learned in their own spiritual path and shares what works for them. We can all be spiritual teachers. We could be heroes just for one day. Let's do this. I will pull the card and then I will read from the book because there's only a little paragraph in the book and just so helpful. Nice deep breath. My Ascended Masters of Soulmate Contracts, we're calling in the specialists. Please, one card in clarity, just one, for this Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract for April, May 2020, involving this divine feminine storyteller and this divine masculine father archetype. What is the perfect healing mantra? It doesn't matter which one is watching this, but by doing this mantra, they will help themselves heal and help each other heal. Expressing free will. My choices determine how brightly I shine. Expressing free will. My choices determine how brightly I shine. So even though things are fated, things are written, things are destined, all part of the divine plan, a lot of what our free will are for the divine feminine in this case. What's the narrative? Oh, I'm through with love, I'll never fall again, said adieu to love, or maybe someday. Oh no, I'm not going to sing from Cabaret. I'm sorry, I can't Liza Minnelli myself right now. There's just too on the planet. But you know, that is of your own free will. Do you want to love what rises, be calm and gentle with yourself, be in faith, or just torture yourself? And it's going to happen anyway, right? And for the expressing free will, are you going to ask for help or not? It's a very, very clear reading for you, Gemini. So what I'll do is I'll pop up the picture and we'll see what else pops up, shall we? Nice deep breath. Magic clap. We start with the divine feminine storyteller archetype in the shadow, making up tales that harm others, particularly herself, most likely. The light attribute, ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols, which does kind of say to me here, look at the larger story. And that's in your element of air there with the card of the Spider Woman, Fate and Destiny. But looking at the element of fire, what it is that she wants is this deeper emotional soul connection, something where it is a meeting of the hearts, it is a meeting of the soul, that is a true soulmate, not a twin flame disguised as a soulmate. And what she has to do, that is her faith, the high priestess, that internal knowing that may not be so easily put into words, but that is that intuitive. How often are the things that we want simply things that are in the divine plan that we are having an intuitive connection to? Whether we believe them or not is not the issue. How will we maintain until these things unfold in our lives according to divine timing? And there we have the divine timing card, right? The Wheel of Fortune, the Spider Woman in this deck, that every thought, every action, every word, every deed is all part of this spinning web, this divine manifestation happening moment by moment by moment. And in the element of water, that does make sense that there is something new forming here, this Aries card, this element of creative fire, that perhaps there are emotions there, that there's some impatience in perhaps the more shadowy side of things, hence the making up of stories that harm others, that childish nature, or perhaps it is more the childlike innocence there of saying, well, miracles do happen, and maybe this is going to happen no matter what I do, right or wrong. But the message from the soul here is the Sagittarian: expand your mind, right? Nothing wrong with wanting what you want, and it's okay for your desires to change and morph as we go along, but there is certainly a transformation taking place here on a soul level, particularly with Ceridwen, the goddess of the cauldron, the goddess of mutable fire and transformation in this deck, with the angels talking about dreams. Yes, of course, pay attention to dreams, your nocturnal sleepy dreams, if you can remember them, because you've got that mermaid card going on there, that Pisces card in the element of fire, with, again, the High Priestess, a very intuitive sign, but particularly with that message from the higher self, the whisper of love, true love. This love is a once in a lifetime love. To not give up on your dream, even if it's not necessarily with the person that is in your story, in your mind, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, that you can still allow this to unfold. Looking over here at the divine masculine father archetype, the shadow attribute, dictatorial control and abuse of authority. Well, good luck with that in this current climate we are in. But the light attribute, talent for creating and supporting life. Let us not forget that the life of a relationship, his new life, he has a talent for creating and supporting his new life, as well as the life of this soulmate contract in his way. Positive guiding light within a tribal unit, and it does feel like he's going to be able to contribute so much as he's going through, or perhaps comes out of this spiritual awakening. What he wants, the element of fire here, is Heracles, right? With the Nemean lion, the courage, the not just the physical ability to endure, but the mental, emotional ability to have courage, to ask for help, which may not be his thing, may not be somebody very apt at asking for help here, but with the Earth card there being the card of death, the card of transformation, Lord Hades, one of the gods of my pantheon, that there is a transformation happening from the bones out for this divine masculine father supportive archetype. That his whole world is changing, and I think that's true for all of us. Interesting that we've got the High Priestess in the Earth for the divine feminine, and the death card in the Earth position for death. So there is a very strong spiritual contract between these two. But what's on his mind is the Hierophant, perhaps formalizing this, perhaps making a commitment, perhaps doing the step-by-step work, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, thinking about it, particularly with that card of manifestation at the core, but emotionally might be hung up. He might be feeling, well, there's nothing I can do right now. There's no action that I can take right now, and maybe feeling powerless, but there is a power there in terms of feeling differently, through seeing things differently. His world has been turned upside down, so what better time to perhaps indulge, to go deeper into his own spiritual soul connection, because really the message of the soul here, that Five of Pentacles, is that his entire life has been changed. Maybe feeling destitute, perhaps lost a job, perhaps lost some people in his life, to put that politely and lightly. But with that card of manifestation, this is all for his highest good. This is all scripted. This was all part of what he must have agreed to, being the soul that was chosen to play this role. But will he choose to play along or to resist? With that card of the Hanged Man and the emotional field there, the element of water, my sense is that he's sort of giving up his resistance. Has to go with the flow one way or the other, but will he feel differently? And will he feel differently enough to ask for help? What is it that he really needs help with? Is he willing to allow himself the support he needs? Well, for both of them, the mantra here really says it all. Expressing free will. My choices determine how brightly I shine. And that doesn't mean one great, big, huge overture of a choice. It's moment by moment. What do I choose to think? Yes, a thought will appear in the mind. We have no control over the thoughts that pop up in our minds, but we can choose whether or not to focus, to fixate, to choose that thought, or to move it in a different direction. We may not be able to choose what we are feeling happening right now or choose what's happening on planet Earth, but our choices moment by moment determine how brightly we shine, particularly when we are choosing from a place of compassion, from kindness, from healing, from health, from love, essentially for the well-being of all, ourselves included. Holy cannoli. What a clear reading. If I had a client say, if you were sitting across from me and we would be going back and forth and I'd be asking, does that make sense? That's what does that make sense to you? Then I would say to you, hang in there. This is really good. Particularly with true love here and ask for help. Yeah, you're not there yet. But who is, right? How many fully embodied true love relationships are on the planet right now? I'm sure there are enough that are keeping us held together with bubblegum and baling wire. But altogether, this is getting ready to manifest. I don't know when. I don't know when, but I will tell you, in terms of the clarity of this reading, that things are underway. You haven't just begun. Just smile. Sorry, I just carpentered myself. So, may the Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed in their soulmate contracts for April, May 2020 to heal, to grow, to learn, to experience true love, and to ask for help as needed for their well-being and for the well-being of all. So mote it be, and so it is. Thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and by all means, comment in the comment section below. I love to hear from you all. That being said, wishing you the very best and the very blessed of April and May 2020. My Geminis, hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.